Hi folks, welcome to another Cancha video tutorial. Today we're going to talk about the new burn data feature in version 1.5. We're recording this on the 16th of March 2020. Something that's quite common when you get a lot of, when you first import your data, you might notice something like this where you've got your, obviously your projects over here, you've got the resource, you've got the block model, drilling, even a pit shell. And then way over here, the geologists have got some exploration holes that were in the same geological database that they gave us, but obviously have nothing to do with the geometallurgical investigation that we're running. So ideally we'd get rid of this. In previous versions you would use bounds to simply crop the view of it. The thing is, the data's still there. So if we were to do a statistical analysis or generate different views, there's always the problem that data is still there, and it's going to be either slowing down the computer and inflating the size of the GMT file, or even distorting the statistical information. So better not to hide things with bounds in that respect. Better to get rid of the data in the first place. Now, another thing you could do previously is add a filter, and the filter would remove the data from the statistical analysis. The problem is that it slows the computer down because every time you do an operation it has to apply the filter again. So now we've added this feature in filters where we're able to burn the filters. Okay, so it's using the same filters as before, interval, block model and sample filters, but now you're able to burn them. And so they'll actually remove the data from the GMT file. So let me show you how to do that. In this example, we're using the Bonnie dataset. In the Bonnie dataset, I've added a couple of fake drill holes over here, way over to one side, so we can remove those. And something else that might be interesting would be to remove these extraneous blocks that are outside of the pit. So sometimes you might have a 6 gigabyte block model data. And you might only be want to use a few hundred megabytes, and so this burn feature will be able to reduce that, and so you can remove things like, for example, that don't have an OR code or that might be outside the pit. So let's do that. How do we do it? Well, the first step would be go to features, and the first thing you want to do is obviously transfer the shell information to the block model. Without doing that, moving that final pit to the block model, we wouldn't build it. I've already done that. So now if we paint that final pit data on there, we can see that we've got A and B. B is inside the pit and A is outside the pit. Okay, so we can filter for that. But how do we go about getting rid of those drill holes? So you can see what I did there by accident, but it's exactly what we needed to do. If I had put an assay on there, for example, silver, from the drilling database, they've got assays, and it's all there. But if I use the block model to interval hole and put the codes on there, we can see that the holes disappear. So now we get rid of the shells and whatnot. We can see that, okay, only certain drill holes have got values, and those are the ones that are in the pit. Okay, these ones over here didn't coincide with the block model, so they're out. Now if we find a categorical information, for example code or ox in this case, it's kind of useful. I'll show you in a second why, but useful to have a categorical information in order to filter by. So let's go to filters, and now if we say, for example, an interval filter, and only choose holes that have a code from the block model as being C1 or C2, okay, because obviously the ones that are empty are the ones that are outside the pit, and we can apply that. And if we go to the block model and if we say, okay, let's only take stuff that's in the final pit, and we only want B, remember that B is in the pit, apply, okay. So now if we go back to 3D, we'll see that now we only have we only have B, and we only have the holes that are inside the pit. So it's doing the right thing. This is exactly what we need, but the data is still there. So if, for example, I go back to the table and I look here at, you can see the data is still here. It's been filtered for the analysis and stuff, but the data is still here, this whole number 11, okay? Whereas now if I go to filters and I burn this, so I'll burn the drill holes, and now I'll burn the block model, you can see that the filter has been added here to the list. This is not you can't edit this, you can't turn it on and off. This is just a record, the fact that you burnt data, so that if people wondering what's going on afterwards, if there's a model audit or something like that, or just you trying to work out what you did to get there, there's a record of the fact that you've removed data in this way. But now when we go here, we can now remove these filters because they're no longer required. And when we go back to 3D, it's still the same. That data from A no longer exists. If I go to the table, for example, and I go to the block model and code, if we look for values of A, you can see that no values of A are in there anymore. It doesn't exist. So now when we look at the silver grays, for example, and if we show all, it's all exactly that. That's all the data we've got anymore. All the other drilling and all the other blocks have been removed from consideration. Okay, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date. And if you got any questions, go ahead and contact us, and we always love to hear from the users. Thanks very much.